Hello, good evening, Rakesh. Rakesh, just we'll wait for some 2-3 minutes. Yeah, sorry, I thought you have not joined, so I was trying to reach your number only. So fine. We'll start our today's session. Sorry, last Sunday was not available, but now I don't have any other priorities, so we can connect at any time. Even if you require on daily basis, like half an hour, 1 hour, we can connect as well. And today, before we move on to our ITC, the remaining one, it's anti-profiteering, the topic is there. So in anti-profiteering, we will see what is the meaning and what are the due dates are there. So it's only very few hardly. So we'll have a look on the anti-profiteering now. And then we will go back to our problems. So this sometimes in theory part, this anti-profiteering related questions has been asked in the previously. That's why we will see what is the meaning and what are the committees are there and what are the due dates for this anti-profiteering. These are the three major one in this particular topic, anti-profiteering. So in this, before we'll move on to the other areas, first we will see about the meaning of anti-profiteering. So what is the meaning of anti-profiteering? So any reduction in rate of tax on any supply of goods or services or the benefit of ITC shall be passed on to the recipient by way of commensurate reduction in prices. So this is the meaning. We need to any questions related to anti-profiteering, please mention this, that is any reduction in the rate of tax on any supply of goods or services or the benefit of ITC, it should be passed on by way of reduction in prices. So what exactly it is, the meaning says, below is the example. So before the GST regime, that is prior to GST, there is a service tax regime, and now we have GST. So the meaning here, what we have seen is any reduction in the rate of tax. So we have in the service tax regime, that time the percentage is 9%, and now the percentage has come down to 5%. So from 9 it has come down to 5. So the product to be sold at from that is from 109 to 105. So this is the meaning for the anti-profiteering. So it doesn't mean that you need to maintain here 109 only. So accordingly you change this taxable value, and GST no issues. You will be maintaining 5%. But what generally we do, so last month I was selling this product for 109. So I need the same sales price only. Instead of selling it to the customer at 105, what I may do, I may here change the some prices, and I maintain the GST percentage as per the government notification, but so my taxable invoice value, I maintain it at 109 only. So this is called anti-profiteering. This should not happen. So that's why whatever the GST reduction in the percentage or the rate of tax are there, it should be, the benefit should be passed on to the final consumer or the recipient. So this is the meaning for the anti-profiteering, and you have seen this particular example as well. So what is the benefit of input tax credit? So the any additional benefit by way of ITC due to the implementation of GST, the same benefit that needs to be passed on to the recipient by way of reduction in the prices. So the benefit we should pass on to the buyer. So we should not sell at 109, it should be at 105 only. So the benefit should be passed on to the buyer. So here one more illustration is there. Suppose if you have any questions related to anti-profiteering, you can mention the meaning. Additionally, you can write this simple example for a good scoring in the, that is full marks, you can score it in the theory as well. So they may ask, explain anti-profiteering for 5 marks. So you can't simply mention only this meaning. So please add some below examples of your own. So it will be easy for you. So now we are going to the benefit of ITC. So we'll see this example. The X Limited, being an interior designing service provider, while providing output service, has availed input services and material M, for which tax paid is as under. So we will see one by one here. The tax paid towards service tax on input services availed is 15. That is in we are comparing prior to GST and now after post GST as well. So the tax paid towards service tax on input services availed is 15, and this is also 15, and the tax paid is 5 rupees is there. So the output tax liability is 25 before deducting ITC. So before deducting ITC, the output tax is 25 rupees. In the given case, the benefit of ITC accruing to X Limited due to implementation of GST. So now if you see here, we in the question we are seeing the output tax liability is 25. And the input allowed towards input services, we have 15, and towards material, in the service tax regime, we were not having the this tax rate. In service tax regime, we were having only service tax percentage. But now in post GST, you have both for material, material also you have GST plus services also separate percentage. So now the total ITC eligible for set off here is only 15, and here you can avail the credit of 20. So below in this, in the service tax regime, we were paying the tax 10 rupees, and post this 1 minute. Anu, 1 minute. I can see some pop-up, but I couldn't able to admit Rakesh here. I can see his pop-up, but I couldn't able to admit him. 1 minute. Sorry, Rakesh, I saw some pop-up has come to admit, but then I was trying, but it couldn't happen. So I just tried to reach you to inform that once again, please try. So good, you have joined. So what I was telling is, any question asked from the profiteering, say for 5 marks, not only this particular meaning, you add some examples so that you can score full marks in the theory part. Now we were looking into this particular illustration, that is what was the tax we were paying during the service tax regime, and now post GST what tax that is what is the GST payable we are paying in post GST. So here we have below is this is the question, the tax paid towards service tax on input services availed is 15, and GST time it is 5, and for material it is 5 rupees is the GST. And now the output tax liability is 25 rupees. Based on this, we are checking how much we were paying the tax. So output tax liability we are having here 25 rupees. So in the service tax regime also it is 25, and GST also it is 25. And now how much ITC we have in our books. So in the service tax regime we are not allowed, that is for material there is no tax, so we are not considering it. Only 15 rupees against the service tax we have considered, but in GST we can avail both for goods as well as for the services. So it comes 15 rupees and this total is 20. Our liability is 25. On 25, 15 rupees is the ITC, and you are paying tax 10 rupees. But in the post GST period, we have 20 rupees as ITC, and how much tax we are paying is only 5 rupees. So this is the ITC benefit we have. If you see these points, now what we have seen is for the benefit of ITC. Previously, this particular example we were seeing it for the any reduction in the rate of tax that should be passed on to the final recipient. So these are the two main points for the anti-profiteering. So apart from the meaning and these examples, so we can remember only two things like under anti-profiteering. One is the reduction in the rate of tax, and another one is the benefit of ITC. These are the two main things. And now we are looking into anti-profiteering committee. So for everything, if any issues in the GST you have not passed on, GST you have availed more. So if something is analyzed by the any GST council. For everything the council cannot, the same person or the same team can't run here and there. So if it is this type of issues that needs to be handled by one committee, if it is this issue that needs to be handled by this particular committee, so it has been divided. Same way for the anti-profiteering committee also, we have 5 members in the committee. So we'll, you can remember not much, only the major. So in the committee, how many members, who holds the chairman position, something, this very important lines you can remember. So we are seeing now anti-profiteering committee. So there are, in the National Anti-Profiteering Authority, it has a 5-member committee. So who are the 5 members? Chairman, 4 technical members, the Additional Director General of Safeguards under CBIC. So who is the chairman? Who holds or held post equivalent in rank to a secretary to the Government of India. So they are the, he is the chairman for the Anti-Profiteering Authority. So now you see who are the members, and later we will be seeing what are their roles and responsibilities. Now the chairman is the rank, equivalent rank to a secretary to the Government of India. There are 4 technical members are there. So commissioners of who are or have been commissioners of state tax or central tax, held an equivalent post under existing laws. And third one is the Additional Director General of Safeguards under CBIC, the secretary to the authority. So the committee, now we have seen who are the persons are there in the committee, that is who are the committee members. Chairman, 4 technical members, there is 1 Additional Director General. These are the main persons are there. So once the committee is formed, there should be for a certain period. So what is the period? We are seeing next line. The authority cease to exist after the expiry of 2 years from the date chairman enters upon his office, unless the council recommends otherwise. So the authority, the committee, that is the expiry is the validity, it will lapse in 2 years. The authority shall cease to exist after the expiry of 2 years from the date the chairman, once the chairman joins, that is selected as a in the committee member. So the next one is what are their duties and the powers. So what is the chairman's duty and what power does he have, and the next one is for the technical members. So the authority, they have the power and discharge the functions, and they can determine the method and the procedure for determination whether the reduction in the rate of tax on supply of goods or services or the benefit of ITC. So the same meaning what we have seen above only. So there, once the committee is formed, so what is their first duty and what power they have is whether everything is going smoothly or not. So the reduction in the price, rate of tax and the benefit has been passed on by the registered person to the recipient by way of reduction in prices. So what are their duties are there? Whether reduction in the rate of tax or the benefit has been passed on to determine. So you need to mention the same point, just add to determine. Then next one is identify the registered person. So we need to see who are the person who has not passed the benefit of reduction in the rate of tax. So they will definitely have, so for example, today I am selling some steel or cement, say for example cement. Till 31st March, the cement GST rate, for example, it is 18%. So I was selling, my invoices for 118. So today from the 1st April, the GST percentage is only 5%. So my invoice price, it should be 105 and it should not be 118. So these are the authorities' duties. So whether the price has been reduced or not, they should see. So how they will easily catch hold of us? So they will say in the GST portal what was the price of last March, and we have reduced the GST percentage from 1st of April, and what are their implications. So whether there is a benefit or not. So if they still see the same sales price of 118, then there is a problem and they will take action on the registered person. So in order to order reduction in prices, an amount equivalent to the amount not passed on by way of commensurate reduction in prices along with rate of along with interest at the rate 18%. So always this still it is applicable, like any issue in your GST related, you have paid less, and if you want to that is suppose for example any refund you received from the department, and if you want to repay it, so you will be paying along with interest for or any delay in the payment of GST. So that for everything the GST percentage along with interest percentage is 18%. So from the date of cancellation of higher amount till the date of return of such amount or the recovery of amount not returned, as the case. In case the eligible person does not claim the return of the amount or is not identifiable, then the same will be deposited in the consumer welfare fund. So suppose if there is no claim received, the recipient has not claimed his amount, then automatically, this is very common, you have paid more tax to the government, and you have there is a time period, so within which time period you should claim the amount that for the refund. If you not claimed or if you are not applied for the refund, it will not be with the government for a long period of time, that whatever the income is there, that is our refundable amount, that will be moved on to the consumer welfare fund. So same here as well, whoever has not applied for this refund or that claiming the benefit of ITC, then it will be deposited in the consumer welfare fund. And to order imposition of penalty, cancellation of registration. So this is anti-profiteering is very complicated, that is the compliances are very strict. So if you are not following it, then it will go for the cancellation of the registration as well. So this is for the duties and responsibilities. Now we have seen that last of our summary is, we have seen the meaning, we have seen some 2 examples, and we are seeing who are all the committee members and what are their duties and what is their period of committee. So that period of committee and all, that 2 years, those things you need to remember, because even in MCQ types the questions may come. Then we have With effect from 1st August 2019, authority after holding examination, the conclusion any registered person has profiteered, such person liable to penalty equal to 10% of the amount so profited. There is, if penalty comes to the person who has not reduced when there is a reduction in the rate of tax. So if they catch hold of those registered person and they will charge penalty, and the penalty is 10% of the amount so profited, and so provided no penalty leviable if the profiteered amount is deposited within 30 days of date of passing of the order by the authority. So here, suppose they don't immediately say you pay the penalty, first you will get the notice from the department. So once you received it, within the time limit of 30 days, you whatever amount, excess amount you charged, that needs to be paid to the department. Else only you will have the 10% of the amount so profited, they will charge the penalty. So these are the common one only. Yes. So we can see one more terms here, like principal bench of the appellate tribunal. So when this will go to the tribunal, and whenever any escalates happens, if they find any higher amount, or the anti-profiteering is still continuing, so those notifications, once it goes to the tribunal, appellate tribunal, so it empowers the principal bench of the appellate tribunal, which is constituted. So why this tribunal has come? To oversee the compliance with anti-profiteering provisions, and this notification, it has come into effect now recently, 1st October 2024. So what is the task of the tribunal? The task of the tribunal is examine the ITC availed have been used to reduce the cost and the benefits of any tax reduction passed on to the consumers by lowering the prices of goods or services. So what you can additionally mention is their duties. Committee's duty is to determine, and here if you see, to oversee the compliance with the anti-profiteering provisions. The principal bench of the appellate tribunal, they have come into the picture now. Then the next one is notification number 19 bar. Previously what we have seen is 18, now it is the 19 one. So again and again the same point only. So this authority is for to they have appointed on 1st April 2025, and they shall not accept any request for examination whether ITC availed or the reduction in the tax rate that has resulted in the commensurate reduction in the prices goods or services supplied by that registered person. So previously what we have seen is the principal bench of appellate tribunal, and this is the one which the central government, on the recommendations of GST Council, they appoint hereby appoints on the first day of April 2025. So this notification, this is the main difference. The first one is the appellate tribunal and the second one is the CG, that is central government. So now below is the application and the duties are there. Process flow of anti-profiteering, the hierarchy mechanism. So what is the hierarchy instead of this all those theoretical, we can quickly have a look in the flow chart way, like what is the procedure followed in decision making or investigation. So what is their process? So they get any application from an interested party or from the commissioner or any other person. So if they receive, then it will be sent to the state level screening committee, satisfied within a period of 2 months, extending further 1 month from the date of receipt of return application, as well as those forwarded by the standing committee. So for the application, it goes to the next level is the state level screening committee. So here if you see, only you remember who are the top authorities and to next level to whom it goes and what is the time period. So here it goes for the state level screening committee and the period is 2 months. So within that period of time they should examine everything from the date of receipt of return application as those forwarded by standing committee. So if it is by the standing committee, yes, then we go for this process. The standing committee within a period of 2 months, there is an extension only for 1 month from the date of receipt of return application satisfied. So you can see parallelly wherever no is there, they may also reject our application. Then it goes to the Director General of Anti-Profiteering. They will investigate and then they submit the report to the Competition Commission of India. So when they will see the report, so previously the last 2 committee which we have seen is the state level screening committee and the standing committee. So for them the time limit is 2 months, but still the extended period is 1 month. But if you see about the Director General of Anti-Profiteering, they have to submit the report and that is they have to whom they need to report. They need to report to the Competition Commission of India and the period is 6 months from the standing committee. So within such extended period and not exceeding for a period, further period is 3 months. Previously the further extension period, if you see, it is 1 month, and for this particular case it is 3 months. So then the decision from the Commission of India, Competition Commission of India, it should be within 6 months from the date of receipt of report from the Director General. So here if you see, if they don't follow the process, then it may go for rejecting the application. So once everything is completed, the Competition Commission of India, what they do reduction in the price, they return to the recipient an amount equivalent to the amount not passed on to by way of reduction in prices along with the interest, and if they not followed any process, they may go for imposition of penalty, and the last final thing is even cancellation of registration also may happen. So these are the main in the anti-profiteering committee. So the committee we have seen earlier, and here this is related to the investigation or the decision making. So directly if I go and complain to some authority that even though the GST tax rate is reduced, but still I am not able to see the benefit of it. So they can't action immediately that GST is reduced. So you have, but still you have not reduced the sales price. Immediately any authority can't take the action. So the process needs to be followed, and finally the decision making or the once the investigations are completed, then they will decide what are the other implications and what type of whether we go for penalty or we go for cancellation of registration. It depends upon the amount and the period for how long he is not following with the compliance. So based on that, the this penalty issues they can they may impose penalty, they may cancel the registration, and they may order for the reduction in the prices. These are the main areas here. And apart from that, we can see the so this is the same here. The one what we have seen above, like standing committee, screening committee, and what is their period, within what period of time they need to report to the Director General and the Competition Commission of India. So the same here, but still remember the periods, that's all here. And nothing very complicated and all. Yes. So these are the main 4 points you have to remember related to anti-profiteering. So I will share with you the last whatever anti-profiteering questions has they have asked for any anti-profiteering questions. So now like this we will see every day some small theory parts, so that you will also can see what are the theory areas are there. So now we'll move on to our ITC, input tax credit chapter. So last where we have stopped, we will continue from there quickly. Yeah. So I'm going into our material, study material only. So that day we have seen about section 17, subsection 5. Exempted supply. So today I think we should we have to start with the works contract in the input tax credit, if you remember. So we'll see last week I think my material is but if you see this, whether the screen you are able to see full size, some issue is there if I share this. Whether you are able to see my screen clearly or it is very small. Rakesh, I think you are saying something, but I couldn't able to hear. Can you ping me on a Teams, please? Hello. So the screen is visible, or this is okay, or I'll move on to this. So till in our last class we have seen some of the new things like if it is related to the rent a cab, so what the vehicles or the transportation of motor vehicles or conveyances used for transportation of passengers. So if you see study this ITC, and when you are checking with our exempted services, It will be more or less similar, and it will be easy to look into the exempted services. That is very quickly you can understand. So here what that day we have seen, that whether the Parveen Travel paying GST 12% and the GST 5%. So what is the difference? So when you are paying GST 5%, so this is the concept of the composition registered person as well. So when you are paying GST low rate, and parallelly the government will cut the benefit also, like you are not allowed to avail the input tax credit. Same only here in this conveyance related as well, the GST is 12%. So when you see the GST per 12%, the Parveen Travel, they are eligible to avail the ITC. When you say GST 5%, so in that case they are not eligible to avail the ITC. So these are very simple only, the same concepts only applicable everywhere as well. So this we have seen in the last class. So and I'm saying only the few major one where you will have to observe keenly, like similar line of business. So if you are for the similar line of business, the correct example is, that is from which illustration if you refer, so you will get clear cut idea is this illustration number 29. So ITC from similar line of business. So if you see this, when we have worked on this illustration, the Annapurna caterings, they were doing the outdoor catering services. So if they have 100 number of menus, out of that 100 numbers, 20 numbers they have outsourced. So they have given to another catering service. Then later they claimed the benefit of the ITC as well. Means from the other catering service, when they have outsourced, they are eligible to avail the benefit. That is the meaning for the ITC from similar line of business. So we can see this 17 subsection this para 5b. So I think I will open the other one so we can see it easily. So if we see like this, then it will be quite easy for us. So we were into the section 17 subsection 5, where for some transactions you are not allowed to avail the input tax credit. So say we were in this particular example, so this one is related to the following goods or services are both ITC not allowed. So where is it? You can see the paragraph B. The goods or services in relation to, so the food and beverages, outdoor catering, beauty treatment, for health services. So tomorrow if we are doing such type of services, then we are not allowed to avail the input tax credit. But still exceptional cases are there, you can avail the ITC. So when we can avail the ITC? When we get the service from the similar line of business, in that case we are eligible to avail the ITC. So that is the best example. So when you go through this particular these lines, we may not able to exactly think what is the similar line of business, when you can claim the ITC, that you will not get it. So we need to parallelly link with the illustration, so you will get some idea at what point of time we are eligible to avail the ITC. So this the something unique which we have seen in the previous class. Only those points I am sharing. Yes. So because whenever we see these types of questions, I can see this has been asked in the previous question papers as well. Like this is related to rent a cab services to Infosys company. So the X Limited is provider of rent a cab services. So if they use as cab services for transportation of their employees, and they use as cab for their prospective customers. So once the work has done, because it's a shift basis, so if they want to pick up and drop their employees during such time. So suppose I am running some company, and my company is running in all 24 hours. So during any shift for any night shifts, that I have arranged a cab for pick up and drop. So that from that cab, that is I rented a cab on monthly basis, they have given me the invoice copy. So in that invoice they have charged GST. Now the question here is whether am I eligible to avail the GST credit. So in this scenario, so in the company, it is related to whatever transaction it is. I am not eligible to avail the benefit of the GST credit where I rent a cab. The second scenario, so okay, for transportation of employees only, I don't have it. But whether my customers are there, and they are in some 40-50 kilometers, so for their pick up and drop, so for that also I rented a cab. So for that, whether I am eligible to avail the this GST credit, but still I am not eligible to avail. So the third scenario is the unique scenario we need to remember. That is, Infosys, under an obligation of law, they provide cab service to employees. It is under an obligation of law. In that scenario, that is called the exceptional cases. Those exceptional cases only very important and need to remember. So for that, you are eligible to avail the ITC. So where you can see here is this line related. So here when you see this flow chart, generally what you will all remember is okay, rent a cab, life insurance, health insurance. So for these types of services, we are not eligible to avail the ITC. So you directly think in that manner, and we will not go in depth also. But the exceptional cases are in the when you try multiple examples, you will understand it. So now if you see this, directly you will not able to find from the flow chart. So you need to go inside and have to understand it. So that's why wherever the unique things are there, I will share. So now the very important I can say, which is related to works contract and construction. So works contract, we will first see what is the works contract and what is the for the construction related. So this C and D we will study now. So the works contract services, when supplied for construction of immovable property. So remember this particular term here. So if it is supplied for construction of immovable property other than plant and machinery, except where it is an input service for further supply of works contract. So this is the point needed to remember. This related to works contract other than plant and machinery, and our that input service, it should be for the further supply of works contract. Then the second one is goods and services. Why I am taking both together? It is related to works contract, and the second one is also related to construction. The goods or services received by a taxable person for construction of immovable property on his own account other than plant and machinery, even when used in the course or furtherance of business. These two are very important, and need to remember one more apart from this. I will tell you that when we see this particular one. So please study the meaning of works contract. This is still they are asking. So and the construction. So what does mean by construction? So under construction, the term includes reconstruction, renovation, addition, alteration or repairs to the said immovable property. Yes. This apart from these two things which we have seen here, like works contract services, construction services, third thing, very important one, is the plant and machinery. So only if we remember this plant and machinery meaning, we will be able to answer the further our examples, answer the problems. So plant and machinery means the apparatus, equipment and machinery which is fixed to earth by foundation or structural support used for making outward supply of goods, services or both, and it includes foundation of the structural supports. So when we study, it will be little difficult for the first time. So we'll see one example, then we'll see this definition also, and what it excludes is very important. Plant and machinery means it excludes land, building, other civil structures, telecommunication towers, pipelines which are laid outside the factory premises. So these are not part of the plant and machinery. So that's why this definition is very important one. Then 17.5, yes, this is the one which we have seen here, is the goods or services for the construction of immovable property. So again, what is the difference between these two? That is the distinction between 17C and 17, that is 5D. So it is related to works contract services, where services received under composite contracts and used for construction of immovable property. So we know it what is composite contracts. So even at the time of composite supply, so when I say composite supply, we'll remember about when we buy laptop with laptop bag. So these are the composite supplies which you can't divide or segregate it. But in case of mixed supply, though it is packed as a gift pack as a one particular item, but still you are able to sell each and every product separately. So here the term composite contracts means along with other job you get this particular as well. So then the next one is 17.5D. So that is situations, goods or services received under different independent contracts. Previous one is composite, this is independent. That supply of goods, goods and supply of services under separate contracts for the construction of immovable property, that is other than plant and machinery. So the only thing here is the composite, below one is under different independent contracts. Yes, whether I have taken as a, but if I go to this preview mode, okay. Yes. Okay. So this one example you'll see, then we'll go back to the PPT now. Mrs. Raj, a registered person under GST, availed works contract service for repair of office building. Amount of repair was debited in the P&L account. So he is a registered person under GST, availed works contract service, repair of office building, and the amount of repair was debited in the P&L account, and we need to comment whether eligible for the GST. So the GST which was paid on works contract for carrying out the repair shall be available for ITC to the extent the said expense not capitalized to the said immovable property. So in the given case, Raj is eligible to avail the ITC. So if it is related to the office building and the expenditure is of capital nature to the extent of the amount not capitalized, we can avail the ITC. So this is one, so we can see the multiple examples. Again we can discuss also, because it's very interesting and we can still remember about those definitions like plant and machinery, works contract, that composite contracts and independent contracts related. So moving on to my this PPT now. Those pictures are there, but still not in that readable one. So say example 7 here, because all those are same example with where we can avail, but it's a quite interesting one. Mrs. A Limited, a manufacturer of laptops, registered under GST, and the company appointed B Limited for construction of factory building in the factory premises. So they are the manufacturer of laptops, and if you see here, this is related to construction of factory building. So for the construction of factory building, what they are buying, the first one is cement. GST paid on cement, and the cement used for factory building. Second one, steel and iron, and you are using the iron for the construction of factory building. So the B Limited, supplier of works contract services. So the works contract services including GST. So here from the definition of plant and machinery, so I am not, yes. So plant and machinery excludes what? Land, building or any other civil structures. It is not a plant and machinery. So here what it says, the works contract services when supplied for construction of an immovable property. So what you are seeing in para C is what? ITC you are not eligible to avail. So the works contract services when supplied for construction of an immovable property, you are not allowed or you are not eligible to avail the ITC. The same here in this particular illustration. So what we do generally, so okay, it's a manufacturing of laptops, and for manufacturing only they are constructing this factory premises, so they will be eligible for the ITC, and we mention yes, they are eligible to avail the ITC. But the section clearly says if it is for the plant and machinery other than plant and machinery only. So the plant and machinery definition, what it says, it excludes land, building and civil the infrastructures. So here he is not eligible to avail the ITC. So this is the first scenario, very simple one. So again the similar only now. A Limited, manufacturer of laptops, registered under GST, company appointed B Limited for construction of factory building in the factory premises. Accordingly, B subcontracted works contract service to C Limited. So we know it, A is not eligible to avail the ITC. From the, this is just the continuation of the previous example. So A is, we are 100% sure A is not eligible to avail the ITC. So in this example, the additional point is B, what he is doing, he is subcontracting the works contract to C. So what C will do, once he complete the work or the job, he raises invoice to whom? He raises invoice to B Limited. Now B Limited, being it is a similar line of business, he is eligible to avail the ITC. This is the point which you need to understand from this particular example. So if you see this transaction one by one, C Limited subcontract supplied works contract services and B Limited is the work contractor, and they are providing it to the service to the factory building to A Limited. So if you see C is providing to B and B is rendering the service to A Limited. So the A Limited manufacturer, he is not eligible to avail the GST on works contract service, but below if you see this B Limited, he is a main contractor. He received the works contract service from the subcontractor. So the B is getting the service from C Limited by paying GST, which is allowed as ITC to the main contractor. So this particular point, which is unique from the previous example, you need to remember. So B can avail the ITC. Now the same with another point which we have seen: land, buildings, pipelines outside the factory premises, then the towers. These three, at least slowly you can thorough everything. But for the time being, what you can remember here is the plant and machinery means it excludes three things. One is land, building and the civil structures, telecommunication towers, and the third one is the pipelines laid outside the factory premises. So sometimes they may ask questions like the pipelines are within the factory premises. So that time we should be very careful. So while reading itself, we should be clear. The pipelines laid outside the factory premises. So now we are going back to the next example. A Limited, manufacturer of laptops, registered under GST. Company appointed B Limited for construction of foundation or structural support of hot mix plant, that is plant and machinery, that are used for making outward supply of goods or services or both. Accordingly, B Limited used cement, steel, iron, water, chemicals and labor to complete the job. GST paid on such works contract service is allowed as ITC to Mrs. A Limited. GST paid on hot mix plant is also allowed to allowed as ITC to Mrs. A Limited. So both are, if you see, it is for the plant and machinery. The construction of foundation or the structural support, and that is hot mix plant means it is plant and machinery. So what we have seen here, other than plant and machinery. So when we studied this para C, it is clearly given as other than plant and machinery. So other than plant and machinery means only then ITC is not allowed. Now we are in studying, looking into plant and machinery, hence he is eligible to avail the ITC. Now next illustration. A Limited, a manufacturer of laptops, registered under GST. Company appointed B Limited for construction of factory building in the factory premises. B Limited agreed to undertake only labor contract plus GST. So the same example only, they are the manufacturer of laptops registered and the company appointed B for construction of factory building in the factory premises, and the B agreed to undertake only labor contract plus GST, and the material which are supplied by C Limited is plus GST. So the kind of a repetitive illustration only. So the GST paid on cements and the GST paid on steel and iron. So it is for the factory building, and the GST paid on input service, that is the labor, and the cement used for the factory building. So the factory building, if we see, it is not a plant and machinery. A Limited manufacturer is not eligible to avail the goods and services received for construction on his own account, including when goods or services used in the course or furtherance of business. Generally, what we see from the meaning of supply, so if you are selling the motor vehicles and that sale is for further, that is in the course or furtherance of business, then you are eligible to avail the ITC. But this particular scenario says including the goods or services are used in the course or furtherance or furtherance of business, still you are not eligible to avail ITC. So the works contract services, when you study para C, para D, so include the definition of plant and machinery, because that plays a major role here. So then next one, Bharati Airtel Limited. So when you study the plant and machinery meaning, no, so that time you write it in the book as well, like towers. Towers means you refer illustration 36. So you see here, Mrs. Bharati Airtel Limited purchased antennas, towers and parts by paying GST, and the company also received works contract service from B Limited for installation by paying GST. Finally, towers and parts are fastened and are fixed to the earth, and after their erection become immovable. Find the eligibility of ITC to Mrs. Bharati Airtel Limited. So here what are the services they are taken? We have seen here the company received works contract service from B Limited for installation, and finally the towers and parts are fastened, and where it is fixed? It is fixed to the earth, and after their erection then it becomes immovable. So now whether they are eligible to avail, we see here one by one. The GST paid on antenna allowed as ITC. The GST which are paid on purchase of towers and parts of towers are not allowed as ITC, that are not being part of plant and machinery. So the GST paid on works contract service, so we know it ITC is not allowed. So in this particular illustration, we need to divide it into three things. One is, the first one, they purchase antennas. Number two, they purchase towers and parts of towers. Three, works contract service. So first one, purchase antenna. So antenna, it is as per under the definition of plant and machinery, it is not excluded. So we are eligible to claim the ITC. Number two, purchase of towers and parts of towers. So towers are excluded, so it is not part of plant and machinery. Number three, works contract service. So works contract service also, they are not eligible to avail the ITC. So whenever you remember this works contract service, so the similar line of business, like this particular example, this you should also remember. When B is a work contractor rendering service to Mrs. A Limited, who is the manufacturer of laptops, they are not eligible to avail the ITC. That is, the Mrs. A is not eligible to avail the ITC. So the B Limited, when letting it for outsource, when and the C Limited raised the invoice on B Limited, then this B Limited is eligible to avail the ITC. So works contract means, please see it in the two aspects as well. Who is doing to whom? So here it is to the manufacturer, and this one is Bharati Airtel. So here the works contract, they are not allowed to avail the ITC. So the next one is, I think these are the major in the works contract and this construction services. The next one is the Indian Oil Corporation. They wants to lay down pipeline from Bhubaneswar to Chennai, and the company awarded this contract to B Limited for a consideration plus GST. Is it input service to IOC? So we have seen here, they want to lay down pipeline. So what is the definition of plant and machinery? Pipelines laid outside the factory premises. This is not, so plant and machinery excludes. So now we are looking into the same, that is outside they lay down pipeline. So B Limited supplied works contract service in relation to lay down pipeline outside the factory premises of Mrs. A that is of Mrs. in the IOC. It is not input service to avail ITC on works contract. So they are not eligible to avail the ITC. So when you see from this lay down the pipeline and all, if you are still not clear, so if one because we know it, pipeline lay down outside the factory premises, then not eligible for that is not under the plant and machinery. So if you are clear on that, you mention that particular line also. Here in this question they have not mentioned that outside the factory premises. So when you are writing, add that point, that pipeline to lay down outside the factory premises. So you can write the plant and machinery definition also, that is so good. So we can finally conclude it that this is not a plant and machinery, so not eligible for ITC. So here also it is mentioned, not treated as plant and machinery. So I think in this works contract is this much only. Let me, because all if you still on this reading the definitions, no, sometimes you may not be able to focus. So go through the illustration, then you go back and see what is defined in the definitions or in the theory. That really helps, and you can read for some long time as well. Yes. So I'm moving on to the this, my mouse pointer is not getting changed. Just a second. Yes. So till this only. So when you see this, all these pages, no, sometimes you may get what is this big examples are there, but very simple. So have a look on these examples. If still doubt, you can reach any time, and we will see this illustration number 37. X Limited, manufacturer of taxable goods and registered under GST law. X Limited assigned the contract in the month of Jan for 5 lakh plus GST 18% to Y Limited. So what is the service which is provided by Y Limited? Constructing structural support of hot mix plant. So this like a new terms. So hot mix plant is nothing but our plant and machinery which is used for making taxable supply of goods. Accordingly, Y Limited used cement, iron, steel, water, labor to complete the job, and the entire work has been completed and the payment also be received in the month of Jan 25. X Limited further provides following information. Find GST liability. So from this we need to find the GST liability. So they have given the finished goods, that is 15 lakhs into 28% is the GST liability. In that, how much we are eligible for ITC, that we should see. Then there is a process loss, 1% is there. So process loss 1% means whether my ITC will be less or I can take the entire 2 lakh into 18%. So why this process loss is very important is wherever, whether the process loss, normal loss, abnormal loss, wherever it is there, you can see in our process loss flow chart, sometimes you are not eligible to avail the ITC for entire 2 lakh into 18%. So if the loss of 1% is there, you will reduce this 1%. What will happen if you reduce 1% from the raw material? Then our ITC will be less to the extent of 1%. So wherever the process loss 1% is given, we should be very careful there. So here 15 lakhs into 28%. Then one by one we'll see. This is raw material, this process loss, it's just for our it's a normal input only, so nothing to do with. So 2 lakh into 18%. ITC on capital goods. So ITC on capital goods is nothing but our hot mix plant. So 6 lakhs into 28%. Then we have works contract service, that is 5 lakh into 18%. So the hot mix plant is capital goods, that is plant and machinery only, hence ITC is allowed. And the input and the input services, these two lines. So why this particular line is given is what we have seen in C, the para C, that is works contract service, we are not eligible to avail the ITC. But this particular input and input service, we are availing it, we are taking it for the purpose of plant and machinery. So we are eligible to avail the ITC. So input, we know it, input and input services used for construction of building or other civil structures, then ITC is not allowed. Here in this particular case, being it this input service is for the construction of plant and machinery, ITC is allowed. This is normal one, input on raw materials, we know it, we can avail the ITC. Then next scenario, manufacturer of laptops registered under GST, company appointed B Limited for construction of factory building in the factory premises. Contract price 120 lakhs plus GST 18%. B Limited supplied cement, steel and labor while executing the contract. A Limited, whether A Limited eligible to avail the ITC? So he is the manufacturer of laptops. They are appointing B Limited for what purpose? Construction of factory building. So that's so from the previous examples which we are learning, so we are very clear that if it is related to factory premises, then we are not eligible to avail ITC. So the GST which are paid on works contract services used for land, building and other civil structures excluded from availing ITC. Therefore, in this given case, A Limited not eligible for ITC. So, last some more than 5-6 examples we are seeing. So you will get some idea. Immediately you will not able to everything may not be correct, but you will get some idea. But slowly start spending some half an hour, 45 minutes, then 1 hour daily maximum. That is very much sufficient. But 1 hour, please focus completely. Then illustration 39. X being a contractor undertaken construction work of an individual residential unit otherwise than as a part of residential complex. So you are required to answer A Limited, A is liable to pay GST where he undertaken pure labor contract, and A liable to pay GST where he undertaken both labor and material contract. So the last one is they gives contract to the subcontractor. Can subcontractor get exemption if it is pure labor contract? So actually since we have to yet to see the exempted services, so there under exempted service we have this particular services, that is services by way of pure labor contracts of construction, erection, commissioning say to a single residential unit, otherwise then as a part of residential complex, they are exempted from GST. This particular notification is there in our exempted services. So now here whether A liable to pay where he undertaken pure labor contracts. So in this case Mr. X providing service with labor and material termed as works contract under GST. So he will be charged 18% GST. So since Mr. X undertaken services by way of pure labor contracts, construction of single residential unit. So if you see this particular line only, the individual residential unit, so in that scenario only he is exempt from GST. So the next one is whether A liable to pay GST where he undertaken pure labor contract, whether he is liable to pay. In that case X Limited, they are providing both labor and material, that is termed as works contract. In that case he will be charged GST. So there is not only labor, he is providing both labor and material. In the second scenario, if you see, the X is liable to pay whether where he undertaken both labor and material contract. So in that case what the services provided by the subcontractor to a contractor, in that case they are exempt as he is providing labor for the construction of residential house. So there are I think I have mistakenly said this. So in this case, that is B is both labor and material contract. So for if they are undertaking both labor and material, you need to see this one, he will be charged GST of 18%. In the third scenario only, he gives contract to subcontractor, whether the subcontractor get exemption. So the services by a subcontractor to a contractor also exempt. He is providing labor for the construction of residential house. I think we need to quickly see the exempted services, because exempted services because the last 2-3 questions which I have shared is from the exempted services only. Again this pure labor contracts is also related to that. You can search by this notification number, so you will get related to that pure labor contracts. So these are the unique type of questions where we need to pay more attention, because from the beginning we are seeing works contract service means exempted from GST other than plant and machinery, but this is related to pure labor contracts and the person is providing service both labor and material contract. In that scenario, how we will be whether what is the GST and how we will be charging the GST or not. And the third scenario is services provided by a subcontractor to a contractor. So this is also a similar line of business we call. So that also we should see whether GST is exempted or the GST is applicable. Then the next one is Raji builders appoint Viswa contractors service of plastering of walls. As terms of contract, as per terms of contract, Raji builders provide entire material, that is cement, water, bricks and chemicals. Viswa contractors does not use any material. Is it a works contract service? So this will not be considered as a works contract, as this is related to, it does not involve transfer of property. So see this example on the top, first line itself, they are the builders. Builders are appointing Viswa contractors. So there is no transfer from this particular, that is the residential unit, like from this person to the from the builders to some the owners. So they are just letting out as a works contract, like a plastering of the walls only, and they are providing the material, but they are not they are not using any material. That is, Viswa contractors does not use any material. So who providing all those materials? The Raji builders. They are giving all the material. So they are only doing what? The servicing only. So it will not be considered. Why? The reason is there is no transfer of property. So even though there is no transfer of property, then we will not be considered as a works contract service. In this point, we can see it. This construction of immovable property. No. So let me also see for any examples related to it. Now we will see the illustration number 41. MR Limited, manufacturer of laptops, and the company appoints RM Constructions for constructing new factory building. So the land value is there, material cost and the service cost. The construction completed in the month of April 24 and the time of supply is April 24. The GST is 18%. The full payment made in the month of April. Output supplies during the month 20 lakhs plus GST 18%. Find the net liability in the hands of MR Limited. So we have that is ITC purpose. We have to see the material cost, service cost is there, and outward, that is GST payable, outward supplies we have 20 lakhs plus GST. So whether ITC is eligible, whether we are eligible to avail the ITC on the material cost or the service cost, that we should now try now. So we know it that GST payable is 20 lakhs into 18%, which is 3,60,000. So next one is ITC. So ITC, how we are going to find the ITC? We have material cost and we have service cost. So the material supplied by RM Constructions and the services also supplied by the RM Constructions for the constructing a new factory building. So now we have to see the works contract services. They are the input service to a supplier of works contract services. Sorry. There are two things. One is works contract service. We know it generally. We will not consider as a ITC. So that we will be concluding in our first exercise. Second exercise, what we are doing is rework if MR Limited is the provider of works contract service. That is, instead of here we are replacing the term, instead of manufacturer of laptops, now we are replacing him as a works contract servicer. So this works contract service, and he is taking the service from the similar line of business, and this RM Constructions also dealing in the that is works contract service only. In that scenario, we are eligible to avail the ITC. So land, we know it, no ITC. So we have raw material and we have the service. So raw material is 30 lakhs and the service is 10 lakhs. So if they ask rework, then we have excess ITC in our books, which is 3,60,000. So this is the two different scenarios here. So first one, we are finding the net liability. So a net liability where the MR manufacturer is MR Limited is a manufacturer of laptops. Second scenario, we are replacing in place of manufacturer of laptops, we are replacing with the term they are provider of works contract service. In that scenario, we are eligible to avail ITC. So why I am back to this pages, except it is an input service for further supply of works contract. So in that case only, it is an input service to a supplier of works contract services. So we are availing the ITC. So we'll see the next scenario, laying of pipelines. P Limited appoints. So another 10 minutes we will see here today. So P Limited appoints Q Limited for laying of pipelines inside its factory premises. So I told earlier also, like laying of pipelines outside the factory premises means what does the mean? We should be very careful in reading the words as well. Here it is inside its factory premises, which result into movable property. For which P Limited purchased pipelines for 10 lakhs plus GST 12%. On completion of works contract service, Q Limited charged 2 lakhs plus GST 18%. Find eligible ITC. So the GST, the credit of GST paid on pipelines inside the factory will be available. Pipelines inside the factory premises in the course or furtherance of business. So how much it is if it is inside the factory premises, which is 10 lakhs into 12%, which comes to 1,20,000 is the ITC. On completion of works contract, Q Limited charged 2 lakhs plus GST. So in that scenario, the GST paid on works contract services, that service which is also for laying of the pipelines, so they are eligible to avail the ITC. So we have to see, once we see the term works contract, it doesn't mean you are not eligible to avail the ITC. Here this works contract service, why we are availing? Because for laying the pipelines, that results into movable property. So we are the GST credit we can avail it, which is 2 lakh into 18%. So it comes to 1,56,000. Now in that second next scenario, Ram, chairman of reputed construction company, he ordered certain input goods or services, cement, steel, labor, to be used for the construction of his house. So the cement purchased, used partly for own company building. So whether he is eligible to avail ITC on purchase of cement. So in that particular scenario, we have to see the 17.5D. The goods or services for construction of immovable property on his own account. So you are not eligible to avail. So when you are eligible to avail, other than plant and machinery, even when it is used in the course or furtherance of business. So here ITC would not be available on purchase of cement, including steel and labor. So even if cement used for own company building purpose, the ITC he is not eligible to avail. So ITC will not be available for goods or services used in the construction of building that is on his own account, including when the goods or services are used in the course or furtherance of business. So the terms also you need to have a look, then we'll see. We'll quickly see this illustration 44 and 45, then we will stop for today's session. I think others, if you see others here, section 10 is there. Then a non-resident taxable person. These are very simple only, just half an hour we can close it. Then once we have completed, then we have we will not have much exercise problems, mostly on the theoretical part only. So now we'll quickly have a look on this illustration 44, that is raw materials. We have 72, food and beverages, input for support of plant and machinery, making structures for support of plant and machinery, and we have capital goods. So whether we are eligible to avail the ITC. So raw materials. So raw materials generally it is an arihant manufacturing company. So the raw materials I purchase it for manufacturing of my finished product. So I am eligible to avail ITC. Food and beverages. So I am providing some canteen facility for the employees. So not eligible to avail. Inputs for making structures for support for the plant and machinery. So inputs used for making the structures. Then capital goods, which are the parts of the manufacture of final product. So the for plant and machinery, and this is related to manufacture of final product. So in these scenarios you are eligible to avail the ITC. Then like previous illustration only, this is the raw material. They are engaged in the manufacture of taxable goods. So raw material we have, then goods used for electricity, generation of electricity for captive consumption. Then goods used for providing free warranty. So the value of such free warranty provided included in the price of final product and is not separately charged from customers. So this is very some unique one. We will see how to treat it. And the light diesel oil. Note, ABC Limited is also purchased high speed diesel oil by paying central excise duty 12,000, which is also used in the manufacture of taxable output. So we will go one by one, like a raw material, and we are eligible to avail the ITC. The goods used for generation of electricity, yes, we are eligible to avail. And the goods, if you see this particular column, these are the GST we paid. So the GST paid is this much, and the goods used for providing free warranty. So I have given the free warranty to my customer. So for that I paid, I am paying the GST of 10,000. So the goods used for providing free warranty. Then LSD, high speed diesel, 5,000. High speed diesel oil, still we have 12,000 is there, but here we are not considering under in our ITC. Why? Because you should first see here the GST paid. Second thing, this is that is light diesel oil. This is high speed diesel oil, and they are saying it is by paying central excise duty. And mostly till date for high speed diesel oil, GST is under proposal and no GST is declared. The state, they are charging on the basis of their percentages, and nothing from the centrally, it is still under proposal. So the high speed diesel oil, you are not eligible to avail any ITC. Rest others, you are eligible to avail the ITC, which comes to 1,35,000. So you can see here by searching this high speed diesel oil, you will find the ITC is still under proposal only. See, we have this in our very first chapter, scope of supply. If you see the page number in the chapter 233, in the high speed, that is, we have section 9 subsection 1, which is levy and collection. Under this section 9 subsection 2, you can see the CGST yet to be levied, that is capturing high speed diesel oil. So there are 5 products till under GST to be levied. Those are petroleum crude, high speed diesel, motor spirit, natural gas, and aviation turbine fuel. Please remember just this 5, because like a high speed diesel, you may get any other product like aviation turbine fuel or natural gas. So you should remember that time we are not eligible to avail the credit on that. So that's why here it is mentioned not allowed, as well as here you can see it is central excise duty and it is not GST yet. So till here I will stop, and so this Sunday I am available. So I will tell you the timings and we can connect. And Sunday morning I have this week intermediate class, where we are still with the basics only, Rakesh, like scope of supply. Last time I have taken this levy and collection, but I think they have not still clear on the services, because services, there are multiple are there. So you have also seen like services means we have to refer like another 100-200 pages only for services alone. So this week maybe I will be repeating time and supply, time of supply with this Inter. Yeah, if you also like to join, you can also make connect for some few minutes. So just for refreshable, and for final separately we can connect in the evening also. So and I think you will be giving in the December only, right? But still whenever you